Okay, it's time for another video, and I'm going to do another ranking video. I'm up to 2017 now, and I want to try and explain how it's going to work this time because as I dig deeper into the decade 2010 to 2020, it becomes more of a problem to review this top 10 type of video because of the number of releases, and B, the fact that I haven't heard hardly any of them. So I'm going to go through briefly in two videos. I'm going to do the first video, which is going to be releases that you might want to check out, plus some honourable mentions. And then in the second video, I will actually select my top 10. And basically the first set of albums I've hardly heard. In some instances, I haven't heard at all. The honourable mentions I have heard once, possibly twice. But the top 10 I will have heard a little more often. Although I must confess, I still haven't heard them a great deal. So let's get started then. With describing some of the releases to get you sort of in the mood. And obviously, I would welcome comments from any of you viewers who've actually heard these albums, and perhaps you can put your comment as to what you feel about them. So that's my intro anyway. So let's go then with releases in 2017. Let's get started. First, a couple of albums that released by Van Morrison. His 37th and 38th, would you believe? Unbelievable the amount of albums available by young Van. Roll with the Punches was the 37th. Lots of great guests on this, including Jeff Beck, Georgie Fame, and Paul Jones on harmonica, plus Chris Farlow on vocals. The 38th was, of course, Versatile, and this consists of some originals, but both new and older songs as well. Very much a mixture of jazz standards. A lively trip through the swing songbook, and very much a mood album, gently swinging. Next up, Sad Clowns and Hillbillies by John Mellencamp, an artist that I do enjoy. It's his 23rd, and it features very much an emphasis on country music. And on the album, he's got Carlene Carter, who's a member of the infamous Carter Cash family. Lyrics written by the folk legend Woody Guthrie, who's one of Mellencamp's heroes. Next up, Mass Education by St. Vincent. This is Annie Clark's project, her fifth. She's an American multi-talented artist. And the album focuses very much on the themes of power, sex, drugs, sadness, imperiled relationships, and death. I haven't heard this one, and I did like the first listen. Little Fictions by the British band Elmo. They're from the sort of Manchester area. They're seventh. Songs built around loops and percussive pianos and electric guitar motifs that replace the strummed acoustics. That Garvey audibly is a man in love on this one. Humans by Gorillaz is my next selection. It's the Gorillaz' fifth, first since 2010. Damon Albarn's project, of course, where he mixes art, pop, R&B, hip-hop, dance, electro, and a bit of funk. And the next one, Tia Amo by the French synth pop band Phoenix. I've got into this band over the years. I've got one of their albums reviewed on my channel called Wolfgang Amadeus, and I love it. This I have heard. It's their sixth, and it sort of dips in and out of Italiano disco, apparently. So, quickly, Witness by Benjamin Booker. It's his second. Bit of a montage of blues, garage, indie rock with a solid soul vibe. Then the seventh album by John Mayer, The Search of Everything. Really loved this artist when he got started. But as times pass by, I've become less and less enthused. It's a loose concert album based on the emotions and thoughts of dealing with a breakup. Soft rock, no surprises. Right, where were we? Let the Dancers Inherit the Party by British Sea Power. They've actually changed their name to Sea Power, none of the British. Their sounds similar to some extent to The Cure, bit of Joy Division, Pixies, and Arcade Fire. It's their seventh album, and strong indie rock band. Southern Blood, the last album by Greg Allman, is eighth. Only completed after his death. A very difficult album to actually record because of his ill health. It's covers mainly. The String Quartets by Jethro Tull and Ian Anderson. The titles on this album are similar to those on his Tull progressive rock classics. It's symphonic rock, to be sure. Then an album called Go Father in Highness by Gang of Youths. They're an Australian band with their writer and lead singer and musician. His name is David La Pep. He's the talent behind this one. It's rock music and it's very, very good. Infinite, latest by Deep Purple. 3 out of the Mark II band are on this album. Ian Gillan, Roger Glover, and Ian Pace. Of course, no Blackmore. He left yonks ago, and of course we'd sadly lost John Lord. I listened to this album, solid effort, but isn't quite up to that 70s stuff. Wailing vocals from Gillan though, and a tight rhythm section are guaranteed. Be Myself, Sheryl Crow, haven't heard this. It's her 10th, much more rock driven, a bit like the Globe sessions, which I did like. Boo Boo by Toro Yormol. It's his 5th. His name is Chaz Bear, and he likes to mix up his sounds. This slips into funky psychedelic pop. And then we got Hot Thoughts by Spoon, a fairly power-driven indie rock dance band. It's their 9th. Sleep Well Beast is the album by The National. It's their 7th, and it actually won the Grammy for the Best Alternative Album. Power of Peace is my last one on here. Santana and the Isley Brothers. It's an Isley Brothers album, and they've recruited the Santana band to give it that Latin guitar solo flavour to their distinct vocal palette. It's not that good, but it's got 2 giants of the music business. Right, a very quick look at some other releases from 2017. Is this the life we really want by Roger Waters? Rock style, of course, progressive rock. He airs his protestations on this about Brexit and Donald Trump. It's got producer Nigel Godrich in the production room. Competent band, to be sure, very much mood type music. Echoes late Pink Floyd releases. Very much for Waters fans only. Heartworms, which is an album by the American band The Shins, expanding the indie palette to include some psychedelia, electro pop, and a dab at country. The added arrangements are great on this. Listen to Fantasy Island. It has elements of Aussie Kiwi indie from the late 80s, I thought. Trivage, Crowded House. And the closer, The Fear, is a standout. Then an Acoustic Classics Volume 2 by Richard Thompson. The wizardry switches to the acoustic guitar here as the Thompson goes through classic songs in his discography. Illustrate the multi-talents of the man. She Twists the Knife again is the opener, and it's tremendous. And I suggest you check out Bathsheba Smiles, another gem alongside the other 11. And then we've got Granddaddy's Last Place. I don't know much about this album, this band, but I did listen to this album. Alternate rock, a balanced amount of ballads and mid-tempo songs. Lots of synths in the mix. Jason Little is Granddaddy. Best track, The Boat is in the Barn, which is a bouncy psych rock type number. And I also like A Lost Machine, solid moving, spacey out rock. And then let's move on. The album by Bob Dylan called Triplicate. Now, Triplicate is, as you would suggest, a triple album. I listened to a little bit of this. It's Bob taking songs from the American Songbook. It's very much for connoisseurs, I think. 96 minutes in total. I have found it pretty dry. Jeff Tweedy, Together at Last, is his first solo album. Guitar, harmonica, and his voice. Some of the 11 songs are redone Wilco material. A few songs, though, I do enjoy. And then we've got Semper Femina by Laura Marlin. She's now based in Los Angeles, but she's an English lass. It's her 6th album, and I do like her. Strings beckon and merge perfectly with Laura's gentle vocals. It's a wonder of musical subtlety, and the influence of Joni Mitchell continues to strike you as you become more and more immersed in the folk sort Celtic sounds. Standouts are Next Time and the Valley. I think I've got that. I think that was right. And to move on, American Dream by LCD Sound System. Don't know much about this outfit. They reunited after 6 years. The dance punk amalgam with synth pop, and it includes a 12-minute homage to David Bowie called Black Screen. There's elements of Talking Heads rhythms in here, particularly David Byrne, particularly on other voices. Okay, so that concludes this quick video on 2017 releases, some of which I've heard, some of which I haven't. Check them out. I'll have audio links in the description.